Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So today I welcome each and every one of you for our international conference on the metamorphosis of human epistemology in the post-pandemic era, a multidisciplinary percipience. I welcome each and every one of you, and I also need to say a few words why we chose this topic, because we are in a day and time of pandemic that we all know, but what are we doing now? Because we are so ignorant of certain scenarios, or we are ignorant about our teaching methods, and basically, I would say that research has been hindered, and we are not able to do valid research on particular topics. So we do not want to concentrate only on English literature, and that is the reason we have done. We as the editorial board members, 10 of us, have gathered together, and we have decided on this particular topic so that we would have an insight or an exposure to the following, what we have to do, what we need to do in this present to make our future more secure, I would say. So for that reason, we chose this particular topic, and also we have I would say, an eminent people to speak in this conference, and they have wholeheartedly helped us. And right now we are going to start our conference, and it is my I would say I'm very happy to welcome Dr. Vincent sir, our principal of Mildress College. He is, and I would say that it is very appropriate. We would feel young when we listen to his speech, and that is the reason I said, sir, you have to give us an inaugural address. And he to not, once he gives the speech itself, we will know how much we are grateful to him that he is giving us an inaugural address. I welcome you, sir. You've been such a motivating person in my career, I would say. A force, I would say, a very simple person, no, very simple person, I would say. He's very easy to reach also, and he's very, very soft-hearted, and he's very, very highly eminent person. I welcome you, sir, and I would request you to give us the inaugural, sir. Thank you, sir.
Shall I start?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Am I visible? Am I visible to you? Am I audible to you? To everyone? Am I visible, Christy?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir, you are visible.
I hope I'm audible and visible, because the person should be visible. Voice can be heard. Then only people can understand what the person speaks. Thanks for the encomium that you have showered on me, Christy. Thanks. It makes me feel humbled more. And at the very outset, I would like to thank Bishop Caldwell College for giving me a great honor by choosing me to deliver inaugural address on this during this beautiful 2-day international level virtual conference on metamorphosis of human epistemology in the post-pandemic era, multidisciplinary percipience. I feel honored and I'm grateful to the organizers, the management of Bishop Caldwell College and organizers, and especially my good friend, Madam Christy Paulina, for giving me this great honor. I do not know how fitting I am, how much do I fit into expectation, I do not know, but I will try to do justice to the purpose that you have chosen me for, and I will try to make my mind and thoughts very clear regarding this particular topic. I am a very positive person. Never have I in my life blamed the other things which have troubled me. Whenever some things troubled me, whenever some accidental things happened in my life, first I would introspect and see what is lacking in me. And when I introspect, when I go into a deeper journey into myself, then I realize that the problems are not from outside. The problems erupt from within. The problems do not come as boulders to you, but the problems start flowing like a smooth, spring within you, which becomes a bigger, stream, which becomes a bigger river, which becomes ocean if they are not treated in the beginning or if they are not treated initially. This pandemic also is the same to me. I don't take this pandemic as a problem that has come from outside to me. Of course, this pandemic has been, or the virus, the COVID virus, is the reason for this pandemic. But what are the other things which are connected to this pandemic? Are they caused by the outside forces? Has it not to do something with my thinking, the thinking which generates from within? That is why I always say, I am positive. When I am positive, the things that I look at, the things that I view, the things that I analyze also get a positive push, and me and everyone around become positive. This pandemic, the present pandemic, has given rise to so many narratives. Yesterday I was trying to gather thoughts about what I should speak during this inaugural address. And I came across some beautiful lines, which I thought I would read them to you because they are not my own. And now I have internalized them. Just listen to these beautiful lines. The fear and uncertainty created by the deadly invisible pathogen permeated at first our public spaces and our physical boundaries, and then slowly but perceptibly our homes, our environments, our conversations, our skins, our souls, and our hopes. For a while, it seemed as if survival was the only mother tongue in a country of more than 1,000 languages. How true it is, you see. Ever since the pandemic struck us, we forgot everything. We were living a life of normalcy. We were living a normal life. But when the pandemic hit, we forgot everything and started running behind it or escaping from it. In one way or the other, every one of us got connected with that virus, that invisible pathogen, that invisible virus. And our existence itself, yesterday we were something, and today we are something different. Yesterday, our thoughts were so full of hope, and today our thoughts are so full of helplessness, so full of depression, depressive thoughts. Look at the change that this pandemic brought to us overnight. The way we are, see, our relationship started changing. We started stopping our own people coming into our own houses. Just imagine if your brothers or sisters were somewhere else in some other states or some other cities, you would conveniently, without any feelings, you would say, no, please don't come. Look at the way the relationship changed. And then you would come out of the house, meet the neighbors, meet the people around, go to your shop, go to the market, and you will meet the people whom you know. You would shake hands, you would converse with them, you would go as much closer to them as possible, and you would whisper into their ears. Now look at it, what has happened. You keep a distance. And this pandemic is a reason we say, we keep a distance, we maintain a distance. And we wouldn't speak to the people without covering our faces. We have forgotten shaking hands. And now you say, if somebody extends his hands, earlier what used to happen? If you meet someone, if you extend your hand, if that person doesn't extend your hand, it was a humiliation, it was a great insult. But now, shaking hands is a humiliation. Shaking hands is an insult. Shaking hands is a carelessness, symbol of carelessness. Just see how the things have changed. Accordingly, thinking also changed. We became more introvert. We became more individuals than the beings, the social beings. Okay? We were considered as social animals. And now, being social itself was dangerous. And this is because of this pandemic. We can go on and on and on talking like this. But now, the point here is, along with that, this pandemic, it appeared, or we faced it as if, a murderer. Pandemics are mass murderers, we know. Okay, the diseases like plagues and the influenza, the Spanish flu have murdered people altogether, have just, wiped off societies and so on. And even this particular pandemic, the COVID-19, has, been a reason for the death of millions of people. And now, the positive side of pandemic, that is what we will have to concentrate on. It has given a source, it has been a source for so much of thinking, thought processes. So many people have thought positively about it and trying to fill in positive thoughts into the people who are already depressed. And our role as teachers or as responsible citizens is the same. I think this particular 2 days international virtual conference is aiming at the same thing. It has selected multidisciplinary dimensions to think about this pandemic and think about the positiveness of this pandemic. This, as I started saying, this pandemic has given rise to so many narratives. The narratives of emotions, the narratives of the economic struggles, the narratives of social struggles, the narratives of intellectualism. And especially if you take the medical sector, if you take the educational sector, these two sectors, of course, I'm not saying that other sectors are not badly hit. These two sectors we will have to think, and these two sectors are badly hit. And not only that, these two sectors have made the people to think more about the future. If you take about education, what has happened about education? Just see, just last year or year before last, a teacher like me was very, very composed, very, very relaxed. You agree with me? We would go with a book, with a chalk piece, or even without that, conveniently go into the classroom. You are the boss, and you would utter anything and everything that was possible, and you would make the students sit there in one place and listen to you, and you would come back victoriously, ceremoniously. You would come out of the classroom. Suddenly, what has happened? Look at the technology that has, that has superseded and overpowered you. Today, a teacher without any ideas or without being able to use this technology, he is not a teacher at all. But previously, previous to this pandemic, the teacher need not know the technology at all. He did not become a techno-savvy. He just, you have some books, you read, you dictate notes, or ask students to dictate notes, ask them to go to the library, refer to books. And today, you don't ask them to read books. What do? We ask them to go to Google, search in Google. A teacher, a traditional teacher, after serving, like me, after serving for 30 years, today, my narrative has changed. The same teacher who was a year back going to the classroom and who was saying, books are Bibles. You should read books. And today, I'm just in front of my faceless TVs, my computer screen. I would sit and say, Google, you will get the knowledge. And this is this is the attack of technology on educational system. And you agree with it. And today, we are online. Everything happens online. You need not go to the classroom at all. You need not know who the students are sitting in front of you. Just it is enough that the students, you have an imaginative classroom now. You do not know whether students are listening to you. You do not know students are attentive to you. As we know, students might just switch on their gadget and keep it there and go somewhere else. You wouldn't know at all. This is what has happened now. But still, I have not spoken this to you taking up or looking at the negative side. I am speaking this to you keeping in mind the positive side of this too. Of course, every coin has two faces, two sides. Similarly, this pandemic also has two sides, positive and negative. We should focus onto the negative side, and that is why the webinars, the conferences, the virtual meets like this brings the people globally. Could you imagine a year back, Bishop Caldwell College calling somebody from US and asking, or my college maybe, calling somebody from foreign countries and asking them to come and speak to us. It would have cost us a lot. But today, you see, somebody from US can sit there and speak to us. We could share our views, we could share across our views. The person from US, person from, I know that there is one person from Bhutan sitting there at her place and talking to us, interacting with us. Don't you think this is one of the positive sides of our pandemic? Of course, definitely. See, if at all this had happened physically, this conference had to happen physically. Look at the arrangements that we were supposed to make. I, as an inaugurator, I should have come all the way to Bishop Caldwell College. We should have been there physically at that college, and we should have interacted personally. But this particular pandemic has given has shown us one way. Even this online interchange or exchange of thoughts also can happen. This is one of the positive aspects. Another thing, if we see, everyone in one way or the other, either happy or depressed, either happy or sad. Now take the medical side. Many hospitals, it was a very tough challenges for the medical sector. All of us agree. You could see, initially when now we know how to take care of the positive patients, COVID positive patients. Even if they are there at home, we would live with them. No, isolation is the only, way out. We know. But initially, even a son or even the close family members ran away or ran away from the COVID patient or chased that COVID patient away from the house because we were scared so much. In the hospitals. In hospitals also, they also are human beings like us. They are also very scared, and the dead bodies were left there itself to get to decay. You could see the burials and so on. Heart-wrenching it is, heartbreaking it is. And you might have read, you might have seen in TVs, you might have read in papers, the dead bodies floating in the rivers. Because nobody, dared to touch the, dead bodies which died of bodies which died of COVID. And now we know how to take care of the medical sector. If you take, there are some hospitals which really took up caring for the COVID patients as their mission. But at the same time, there were hospitals who started thinking the other way. This COVID or this pandemic became a means to them to earn money, to reach their end of filling their pockets. They became inhuman sometimes. And, this vaccination for that matter. When the vaccination was available freely, the same vaccination was being sold in the private hospitals. These things, were very much disturbing. And these are the things, will have to be discussed. After this pandemic, or during this pandemic, now people have become health conscious. You will agree with me very much. They care for, or they take care of the food that they eat. They give more importance to their physical exercises. They give more importance to hygiene. People don't go out, without wearing mask. As soon as you come home, you will sanitize your hands. You will wash your hands. These things happen. You have become more health conscious now. And at the same time, there are some areas in this medical sector have started becoming seriously involved in the process of treating the COVID patients or the people, elderly people you take for that matter. The youngsters, they somehow manage. But the elderly people, if at all they are hit by COVID, they will be, and everybody would be so much, agonized because of the serious effects which this COVID leaves behind even after one is cured. So I think this particular 2 days conference should give us a proper platform to think more and more about this pandemic situation, because we think, the people like us, we think only this particular pandemic, COVID pandemic. But pandemics are as old as our civilization itself. For example, plague. You know, Albert Camus has written a beautiful play called The Plague. And that in that, the plague, he shows very, 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 very seriously the effect of the pandemic. How the state and the ordinary people, how for the state, this particular pandemic becomes a tool to control the ordinary people. And even the same thing happens in India. It has become tool with the with the hands of the administration to control the people during this time, and we have become inhuman. And you know how this every pandemic doesn't start as a pandemic. It starts as endemic, it becomes epidemic, and later on it becomes pandemic. If you take plague for that matter, during the colonialism, during the colonial period, you know, there was an exchange of people from state to state, the countries to countries. People came here for trade, or people wanted to seize other stations, and that is why they came by ship. And this is how the plague became, the endemic plague became pandemic. And the same thing happened, this COVID, we know that it started in China. And after that, because we did not take care of it much, it spread everywhere. You know, now spreading is very fast. Earlier, people used to sail, and it used to take months and years together for the disease to spread. Now, you know, the flight, the movement has become very fast. Within 14, 15, 16 hours, you could be from India, you could reach USA, New York. And if you are a COVID carrier, you can spread the disease there within no time. This is how the endemic becomes pandemic overnight, because of this new technologies, because of the swiftness that we are in. So, my dear participants of this 2 days beautiful conference, let us be positive. There are so many speakers to speak to you, and I know there would be the guest of honor speaking to you next, and he would be delivering keynote address. And then we will have Dr. P. Kayal, Dr. Chitra, and Dr. Vinod Kumar, and Dr. B. Benison delivering the valedictory address. I hope this particular conference, international conference, would have serious deliberations, would definitely help the participants to enrich themselves intellectually. I congratulate the management. I congratulate the organizers for organizing such beautiful conference. It is not easy, I know, to organize such conferences, but I know Madam Christy Paulina is one of the best persons to organize. She is a very good organizer, because I know her since a couple of years. She's a good organizer. So I congratulate the Bishop Caldwell College for organizing this virtual seminar conference. And I also wish all the speakers and participants good luck. Thanks for this great opportunity. And I'm overjoyed to associate with you. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It was, as usual, it is a wonderful speech, I would say. Thank you so much, sir. Which you have spoken about pandemic, which is not from the outside, it's from inside. That's really, really very nice. Thank you so much, sir. And hope, you would be you're very much associated with the college, I would say. And thank you for being so kind, for giving us an inaugural address. It was an amazing speech. As usual, it is the flow of language. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Sorry. So now 2 minutes, Justin sir is getting logged in. So once he is getting logged in, we would be doing the keynote address. Thank you.
கனெக்டா இருந்தாலே போதும்.
We have good evening, sir. Justin, sir, good evening. Nice to meet you, sir. So, participants, we are entering to the second session, like keynote address. And we have a great personality, I would say, for our keynote address. To introduce our chief guest, Sir has started his career as a bank officer in India, and he left his job and did his PhD. He was an assistant professor and department chair at Indian Institute of Management. Currently, he serves as an associate editor of Journal of Business Research, European Academic Journal, and Journal of Strategic Marketing. And he is an important person in the editorial board of several academic journals, such as Journal of International Management. He holds two titles: Distinguished Scholar, conferred by Indian Institute of Management, and Distinguished Professor by Symbiosis Institute of Management, India. He is known as proponent of Maastricht theory, model and measure for brand management, CPP model for internalization of the firms, 7P framework for international marketing, and scope framework for the success of small firms. And I would say that Justin Sir has written 8 books, which includes business environment, export-import management, services marketing, management of banking and financial services, international business, economic environment, and policies for business, and many more. And Sir has also written many papers, I would say more than 180 papers in SSCI, and he has also written more than 150 papers in Scopus, and it has been downloaded more than 800,000 times. He has visited 60 countries for academic activities, and he's also an author of 4 case studies published by Ivy Business School and Harvard Business School. So, Sir, at very young age itself, I would say that he has been, his global academic journal has been ranked as A grade by Australian Business Dean's Council. He's a former faculty member with the University of Washington. He's a full professor of PhD and MBA programs at the University of Puerto Rico currently. And Sir has also, I would say that he has visited many countries, as all we know, and he also knows more than 4 languages. I especially knows Japanese also. And at this pandemic time, we would ask, we are very small college, and we wouldn't be able to listen to Sir's speech. And I'm very much grateful to you, Sir, that you have accepted our invitation, and he was very humble enough to accept our invitation. And whenever I call him at times, he picks up his call at his very busy schedule. I welcome you, Sir, and we are very much eager to listen to your speech. Thank you, Sir. Thank you so much for being with us. And also, over to you, Sir. So you're muted.
Yes, I am.
Thank you, Professor Christie, for this invitation. And I would like to congratulate the college for organizing this webinar on a very timely and contemporary topic. It's early morning for me because I'm in America, and greetings from America to all of you. And it is an honor for me to address this gathering today and share some of my thoughts on how the world is reshaping in the context of COVID-19. For me, in addition to my professor job, I'm serving as editor-in-chief, chief editor of International Journal of Consumer Studies these days. That takes all my time these days compared to my professor job. I spend 50 hours every week for my editor job and 5 hours as a professor. That is the difference. So I'm very research oriented, and today's talk, I will not spend much time on research activity, but I will spend some time on how people are facing challenges and what kind of strategies will help companies and organizations to overcome these challenges and have a normal business normal business patterns and processes in the post-pandemic era. And I see that this is a national conference from the college point of view, and I'm sure you have a lot of distinguished speakers and discussions and deliberations which help you to have more fruitful learning in the process. I'll see if I can share my PowerPoint and speak with the help of my PowerPoint. Can you see my PowerPoint now?
Yes, sir.
Everyone is talking about COVID-19 now, and companies and people, everyone is very keen to look at what to do and how to do in the post-pandemic time. A company increases its likelihood when it achieves competitiveness. The question here is, because of this pandemic, now we have a very, very fundamental question: survival versus success. Who will survive and who will succeed? This is a basic question. So, this is a fundamental issue. So surviving during this pandemic time and in the post-pandemic time is critical, because many companies have collapsed, many small enterprises, they are on the verge of collapse, and many micro enterprises, they are also facing a lot of challenges. All these are the problems of this pandemic. Global economy is expected to shrink. Already, global economy is also facing challenge. Millions of people have filed for unemployment benefits in countries like the US, and in other countries also many people have filed for unemployment benefits. Thousands of people have been laid off. Labor-intensive industries are facing more challenges. Compared to capital-intensive industries, labor-intensive industries are facing more challenges. This is because social distance, labor-intensive industries cannot operate based on the social distancing principles and so on. So they face more challenges. COVID-19 has made companies search for opportunities necessary in order to survive. There has been setback on transaction taking place in recent months. Small and medium companies face survival threat and challenges because of COVID-19 compared to multinational enterprises. Multinational enterprises face less challenges. This is a reality. I know a couple of small business owners here and there in different countries, India, US, and so on. They all have tough time now because they all have small businesses and they have a serious issue of operating their businesses these days. This pandemic gives me some kind of insights that it is better to have a safe job rather than running a small company. I mean, running a multinational company still can be manageable, but running a small company, almost all small companies are facing serious threat these days. They have no income now. Even like you look at a small retail shop, suppose in case if any of your relative or friend is running a small retail shop, they have no income. They are closed. They have lockdown 2-3 months or 6 months, no income. So if they have employees, they cannot pay salary, because if they are not having income, how do they pay salary of their employee? Many small enterprises have shut down their business operations in different countries. Pandemic has also resulted into big challenges, million-dollar challenges for marketing managers all over the world. In this context, when we think about what to do to survive and succeed in the post-pandemic time, I would say that the firms have had to rethink their strategies. Their strategies, their diplomacy, what they did in the pre-pandemic time. Do you think that this is going to work, or they need a better strategy? Or they need a completely revamped strategy? What kind of strategies will help them to survive and succeed in the post-pandemic time? This is what we are going to look at, and we are going to analyze and try to understand. Yeah, so in this presentation, I'm going to give you a framework called 7P framework for companies to rewrite their business plan in the post-pandemic era. This is because I believe that the traditional business plan or traditional marketing plan will not help them to achieve rousing success and rousing gain in the post-pandemic era. And these 7P constructs, 7P framework stem from different P constructs. Yeah, now before I go on to the 7P framework, I would like to give you some more perspective, global perspective, because most of the participants in today's workshop appears to be from India. So it will be better for you to understand what are the global perspectives of this pandemic. Social distancing has resulted into increasing importance for online transaction. Nowadays, online transactions are very important and critical. This implies that the companies focusing on online business will be winners because most customers prefer online purchase these days. Yeah, online business is very important these days. Well, I would say that suppose you have your own business. If you don't have online business, I would strongly recommend you to think about online businesses or strengthening your online business department. Because companies focusing on online businesses, they are emerging as winners. And if you don't focus on that, you are emerging as losers. Who want to be loser? Nobody wants to be loser in this world. And now look at the impact of COVID-19 on different sectors. Almost all businesses in travel and tourism sector will incur huge loss in the next 2 years. This includes travel agencies, monuments, restaurants, and hotels located in tourist locations. Travel and tourism sector is almost like a dead industry now. More than 70% employees in travel and tourism industry, they have already lost their jobs all over the world. And this industry is facing serious threats, and it will take another 2 years for this industry to recover. I tell you an example. I live in a town next to the beach location. Okay, just opposite my building, there is a very beautiful beach. And there are many fancy restaurants, mainly to cater to the tourists. And because of COVID-19 lockdown, these restaurants were closed down for 2-3 months, and some of them found it difficult to close down for 2 to 3 months because some of them had to pay salaries of employees, some of them had to pay a very high amount of rent. And so they decided to close down their businesses forever or permanently because of lockdown. And they also realized that the tourists will not come for next 1 year or next 6 months. So it would not make sense for them to continue their business. Many restaurants in my area closed down. They have not yet opened after the first lockdown of 2-3 months. A classic example, I tell you, Hard Rock Cafe. Hard Rock Cafe is a very famous American restaurant come bar. And you know, 1 block from my building, there was a Hard Rock Cafe, very fancy Hard Rock Cafe. And this Hard Rock Cafe never opened after the lockdown. This is so sad. And I have to also say that exclusive now, when I think in terms of marketing, I would say that there are different type of distribution channels, distribution strategy. One is exclusive distribution and another one is inclusive distribution. And I would say that exclusive distribution is dead. Companies need to think about intensive or selective distribution channel strategy. Customers would not prefer to pay for premium brands as part of saving strategy. Brand managers will have tough time in the next 2 years. Newspapers relying upon income from advertisement will have tough time because majority of the companies will not spend money for advertisement. These are all realities. Companies need to think about intensive or selective distribution strategy in the post-pandemic era or in the pandemic era, because exclusive distribution is almost dead. Artificial intelligence is getting more importance these days. Robots, chatbots, and so many things like that. Machines, vending machines, so many things will get more importance. Food availability and security likely to be an issue. I mean, it is, I mean, as long as COVID is there, but in case if COVID is not a major concern, some areas COVID is not a major concern these days, but some areas COVID is having second wave and third wave and those kind of things even nowadays. Hourly wage rate system will get more importance. This is another important shift that we are witnessing. Before the COVID-19, before the pandemic, we used to have monthly wage rate system or annual wage rate system. Now in the post-pandemic period, hourly wage rate system will get more importance. World will be divided into two diplomatic teams under US and China. India will be with the US and Pakistan will be with China. So this is another bipolar division. Yeah. New challenges. Hospitality industries are badly hit and will face serious problem. Movie theaters will not get people. Hotels and restaurant industry is facing problem. Education industry is facing problem. I would like to explain a case study of a restaurant near my place. There's a Chinese lady who moved to America from China to work as a Chinese cook in a Chinese restaurant. And because she was ambitious, after 5-6 years working as a cook, she started her own restaurant. And she has 3 restaurant branches. And because of COVID-19, our restaurant was closed down for 2-3 months, lockdown. And after lockdown, she found it difficult to operate because she had to pay a big amount of rent to the landlord from where she has a lease agreement. So she decided to shut down. She decided to permanently close down her Chinese restaurant. And she suspended, she terminated their employees also. And there are many small enterprise owners who face this problem because of pandemic. Yeah, now I'm coming to this framework that I have for discussion with you. This framework is aiming for performance. The goal, so what I recommend is, in order to survive and succeed in the post-pandemic time, use this framework. You give this framework to your students also when they write a business plan or marketing plan in their class. The goal of this framework is performance. Basic question is how to achieve performance. And performance is considered as a function of other 6 P's in this framework. Performance is a function of potential, path, processes, pace, pattern, and problems. The most important thing about this framework is this is given in equation format and problems are taken into account. Normally, when you prepare a business plan, problems are never taken into account because traditional business plan never had problems as a component. So here what I'm presenting is a new framework with problems as an integral component of a business plan. And there are 2 types of problems, expected problem and unexpected problems. COVID-19 was an unexpected problem. And in business, you have to think about unexpected problem occurring on your way like a shock. COVID-19 was a shock on all businesses. So in future also, when you prepare a business plan today for your business, you have to expect some future shocks or future problems. Those problems are conceptualized and conceived in the form of problems in this framework. This framework was originally published as towards a 7P framework for international marketing before COVID-19, but now I think that this framework is more relevant even for local marketing or local businesses, any type of businesses, regardless of industry and country of origin, and for everybody to survive and succeed. So, I mean, originally I developed this framework with the help of my former PhD student, Eric Maas. Now he is a assistant professor in leading university in the US. And this is, so this framework consists of potential, path, process, phase, pattern, and problems. And this need to be analyzed as independent variables or analyzed on the right-hand side and left-hand side. The equation is leading to performance. Performance is a function of all other 6 P's. Potential means you have to look at what is the market potential for your product or your business in different markets, in different state markets, in different international markets, and different local markets. Path is another construct here. Path refers to growth path and growth strategies. How do you mobilize your sources of funds? What are your sources of funds for growth? That need to be planned in advance. For example, will you grow with your own funds? Will you borrow from banks? Will you rely upon stock markets and so on? Process. What are the processes that you will follow? Pace. What is the speed at which you will grow? Pattern. What kind of pattern you will have in your business? All these need to be looked into. Problems I already explained. Yeah, potential, it's a meaning, it's a literary meaning. Just think about this literary meaning. And you have to analyze your potential before you venture into a particular business or before you diversify. You have to analyze your potential. That's important. Yeah, potential, path is nothing but growth path, growth strategy, fund sources, and so on. Processes that you follow. For example, you can think about whether you will follow organic versus inorganic processes. Organic process simply means that you open your own branches, you recruit your own people. Inorganic process include acquisitions of other companies and so on. And you have to decide, what is the processes, what kind of processes that you will follow, organic versus inorganic processes. Pace is the speed at which you do business. Determinant factors of pace, technology, competition, and so on. Suppose you are a technology intensive company, you can do business at the speed of light. You can have amazing speed, but if you don't have technology intensive, technology orientation, your speed is likely to be low. Pattern, this refers to what and where and what product, whether you can have product lines or product diversification, product differentiation, or whether you can just have one product, and what kind of product destinations you can have with regard to pattern. Problems also need to be taken into account. There are different types of problems, as I explained before, anticipated problems and unanticipated problems. Even resource constraint is a problem. Cognitive bias can be a problem. Yeah, so there are different type of problems. And the resource limitation, it's a problem. So how do you overcome such problems? That need to be seen well in advance. For example, that need to be seen these days for post-pandemic time. Yeah, so what determines performance? The basic question. How do you achieve performance? Performance is a function of potential, path, process, pace, pattern, and problem. This is the formula that I would like to share with you today. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, I'm back. There was some problem with the laptop. Are you still there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I finished my talk, and then if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer.
Any questions?
And for the benefit of the audience, I would also like to say that all my lectures, including lecture on publishing, publishing in premier journals, do's and don'ts, all such lectures are available on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/drjustinpaul. So I have a lot of experience in publishing. I share a lot of those things in video on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/drjustinpaul. You can subscribe my YouTube channel, or you can follow me on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. So all my, all those are also linked with the same extension, like facebook.com/drjustinpaul, twitter.com/drjustinpaul, and so on. YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook are same extension, drjustinpaul. Yeah, any questions?
Any question? No questions, sir. At the outset, I would like to thank
Dr. Justin sir for giving a wonderful talk. And he has given us how to deal with problems and also how to solve it, that in business strategies, which is very much new to literature actually, but we have a lot of management people over there here in the platform, and they are very much, I hope, the talk was very interesting, and even a literature candidate like me was able to understand greatly. And it was a great deliberation, as Jayashree ma'am has said now. And thank you so much, sir. At this early hours of the day, you've been, after your busy schedule, you have given us a lot of time, and you've given us a wonderful speech. Had it not been pandemic, wouldn't have reached to you, sir, because that's not very much possible for you, for Bishop Caldwell College, to have an eminent personality like you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for being with us. And that was a very nice, wonderful session with you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir. We are here for our third session. Kayal ma'am. Ma'am is here. I would like to request Divya to introduce the chief guest.
Yes, ma'am. I take it, I make it. It's my great privilege to welcome our resource person, Dr. Kayal ma'am. Dr. Kayal Padmanabhan has over a decade of credentials in the domain of computer science with wide exposure through teaching, research, and industry. And she has been appointed as ACM Distinguished Speaker by ACM for Computing Community during the year 2019. And she is passionate about research and specialized in data science and machine learning algorithms, in which she pursued her doctoral research. She has several publications, especially related to machine learning applications. And she's a postgraduate and graduate educator for engineering and science scholars. Currently, she's working as an associate professor in the Department of Information Technology. I think it's PVRIT, Hyderabad College of Engineering, Hyderabad, India. She's also serving as an active member of Research and Development Cell and as the postgraduate coordinator in an institute. Dr. Kayal ma'am's research is highly concentrates on supervised learning algorithms, measure optimization techniques, parameter selection and calibration for input-based model building, analytics, and large predictor variables for any intelligent predictor system. Her expertise in object-oriented paradigms and research-oriented software like MATLAB, R, and Python has helped her run several programs providing data analytics and data science training. And she has served as a reviewer in IEEE conference program committees and has delivered many technical talks or guest lectures and honored as resource person in various faculty development program and workshops. She has been awarded with Best Research Award in the International Research Awards in Science, Health and Engineering, Shen 2020 Awards, and Best Women Faculty Award from Nobel Research Academy for her contribution in science and technology. It's very pleasure. I'm very happy to have you here, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
A very good evening to everyone present over here, and my special thanks to Dr. Christy Paulina for inviting me in this grand occasion. Am I audible? Just wanted to check with that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you, Dr. Christy, for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, and shall I share my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Hope it is visible.
It is, ma'am. It is.
Yeah, thank you. So today when we were discussing Dr. Christy, she was saying about her conference. So, and I thought for the theme of your conference, this topic would be doing justice, that is disruptive innovations and how these, what is that disruptive innovations and how it would be used in the past as well as going to be in the new normal situation. So this is my favorite topic actually, even before COVID-19. And now exclusively how those disruptions have been taken over by different sectors we'll be seeing. So before to understand what is this, like before we start our session, let us try to understand what is this term disruptive innovation. So thanks to the, I've taken a few images, all those things, this is just a disclaimer. Okay, so here it is. So when, as the term says, disruptive innovations, like you should know that this term was actually coined by Harvard University professor, Dr. Clayton Christensen. Okay. So he is the person behind this term disruptive innovation, and he is the first person who has brought in the term called disruptive innovation to the world. So actually what does it mean is it's a powerful way of thinking about innovation in a innovative driven growth way. So it is an innovation driven growth, and how you powerfully think, like you cannot say no to any kind of new development. So you know about you would have been known about this economist, Dr. Joseph Schumpeter. He is an Austrian economist. So he has given his views about this disruptive innovation as it is a creative distraction. So the term itself, as it is an English department, you might be knowing better than me about this oxymoron. Like what is that oxymoron? And you have contradictions in the same statement, like creative distractions and disruptive innovations. Disruptive is something which disturbs the phenomena, right? And innovation is something everyone would admire, everyone will welcome it. So when you put together the term disruptive innovation, it becomes an oxymoron. So oxymoron is like, I just remember an incident happened when I was trying to understand this oxymoron with an English professor, one of my ex-colleagues. He's a very humorous person. So he just in a line, he explained me what is this oxymoron. So he told, ma'am, it is nothing that contradictions exist in conjunctions. Like, for example, when you wish a couple happy married life, it is an oxymoron. So the moment he has told it, I understood what is he trying to explain that. So same way, this disruptive innovation is a creative destruction, right? You cannot stop the creativity that is happening, and you have to admit that destruction that is moving out and something else new is coming in, right? So it is actually a natural process in all the things that we do. So you can also frame that as breakdowns through breakthroughs. Okay, so we break down something for new breakthroughs. So this is what about this disruptive innovation. And whenever we talk about this topic, we should be thankful to the professor, our Harvard University professor, Clayton Christensen. And from his explanation, we could understand what he says, that it is a wild and unexpected change that disturbs the structure that we follow in our business or in our technology or whatever it is. So a wild disruption, right? So it can happen in two different ways. That is disruptive, revolutionary technology. It happens with two ways, that is revolutionary and evolutionary. So we coin as disruptive revolutionary technology some of the technologies which revolutionize. When you say revolutionary, it happens overnight or within a short period of time. It changes everything. Like even this COVID situation is something, a revolutionary change it has brought in. We never, no one expected that our life will change into a new mode. Okay, everything what we do today is a new normal, right? So people were using touch screens. People were they were about to get habituated with touch screens and all those touch things, but within a day we are all told that touch is a sin. It has become a sin now, right? So we avoid touch. So all these things happened overnight or in a very short span of time. So that becomes revolutionary disruption. And the next one is evolutionary, which evolves over time. For example, there are some things which evolve over time. It takes a form from one, then form two, form three. Okay, so it changes over a period of time. So we'll be seeing in detail about this revolutionary and evolutionary changes. And when we talk about disruption, we cannot forget this demonetization concept. So this demonetization, which was implemented in India on that is from 8 November to 30 December, this has come into process. And because of this demonetization, within a night, okay, so 86% currency was delegalized. So this is an example of revolutionary disruption. So it changes overnight. Okay, the next day morning, your notes are not valid. Your currency is delegalized. Okay, so a sudden change, and this disruptive policy is considered as one of the best and very efficient disruptive policy since 1991. So in 1991, we had a policy innovation based on this economic liberalization. So from 1991 only, all this liberalization in commerce has happened. This globalization has started coming in from 1991. So that was the best disruptive policy. So since then, demonetization is the next disruptions that happened overnight. Okay, and so here something to bring the nostalgic feel here. How many of us are using these types of technology still? So fixed landlines, it is now least used, and regular cell phones, the production has almost come to an end. PDS, that is personal digital assistants, we don't use it. Wrist watches has now moved into touch watch and iWatch. Many things are coming in, right? So calculators, no, we are not buying it exclusively a calculator. Voice recorder, tape recorders, no. Planners, we are not using anymore. We have notes in our mobile phones. We take it down, we keep alarms, we hear music. Okay, so here the thing is the one term that the one technology, mobile phones, that is the smartphones, have almost killed, have almost disrupted the production, the business, the market behind the things that we just discussed now. Okay, so if you imagine, like, we will not have even time to realize that we are not using all these things, because everything is an inclusive part available with our mobile phones nowadays. No? So mobile phones is also considered one of the very smartphones. I mean, one of the strongest disruptive innovations, technology that has come into people's mind, people's use actually. Okay, so and one more thing here, you can see digital photography. So there were times we were going behind this Kodak to buy the film, to have put in this film plummet into our camera. All those days are no more. It is all gone into extinct, right? So these are all some things that have been drastically disrupted with the technology that we have in today, right? So if you go to a crowd and find and count the number of people who has wristwatches, and especially with cities, it will be very, very minimal. It will be very, very minimal, and many have lost the habit of using wristwatch itself. Okay, everything I have it in mobile, and otherwise I go with the smartwatch or whatever it is. Okay, so this is actually, when you think about, like, really we'll go to our nostalgic days we had. And so this is a slide which talks about some of the products which are in extinction. So yeah, these are the mobile phones we used, regular phones, whatever I told you, just to show you all those things are now into extinct. Weekly planner, I remember we will be behind this weekly planner when we were in our school days, very young age. I want a weekly planner, planning our timetable, all those things. But now, no, our children are not at all familiar with these devices. And yeah, these wearable devices, this technology has actually wiped out the things that we discussed some time before. And this is one more technology. I did not touch up this COVID part still yet. I just want to talk about disruptive innovation, and we'll get into this COVID impact very soon. This existing, like, you know about this Netflix. Netflix has they are very, very intelligent people. Actually, how this Netflix started is, like, they started to, initially when they have come into the market, they used to deliver DVDs to customers. Right, so you have to register, take the DVDs, and within a time period you have to watch it. And once you finish watching it, there will be boxes, like how we have post boxes around our city. There will be Netflix holders where once you finish watching the movie, you can go and place your CDs there. So the next set of CDs you can get it once you submit the one what you have seen already. So this was their business. So they give DVDs to customers. Customers watch it, and they have to submit it in the box that have been placed all over the city. Right. So Netflix identified, like, initially it was a very good business. People liked it a lot, but after a period of time, either side, the business have seen it's some kind of IXM at both ends. Customer, they have to go and submit the DVDs, and the Netflix has to deliver the CDs to the customers. And also this delivery and collection has become some for either side. Okay, though like both the business and the customer started to feel that we should move on to next step. So before the disruption has come in, this Netflix, they disrupted their own market by bringing in online streaming. So that is what I told you, these people are intelligent. They understood that our business will be disrupted if we are not going to think better. So if you're not going to think of out of box. So they immediately come up with a highly disruptive innovation, that is online streaming. And you know the value of online streaming today. Everything goes online today. And even in this post-pandemic situation, during a pandemic situation, and this online streaming has taken up its market. Okay, and so this is a small history about Netflix and their innovative marketing styles. Here, some of the examples of evolutionary change, like we started using workstations, slowly we moved into PC, and then we had laptops, then we have tablets. So this is slowly evolving over a period of time, on years, right? So this kind of disruptive technology comes under disruptive evolutionary technology. So it evolved, like usually it is a natural process, right? So we also evolve, and same way missions also evolve, and that comes under disruptive evolutionary technology. So you can see how we have evolved from mainframe computers, workstations, and now we have everything in our hand. Okay, so you can just have it. And now let's just have a discussion on this COVID-19 pandemic, how it has impacted human lives, and how technology is playing its role. We have pros, we have cons using this technology. We'll take a look on such things. So mainly we will cover these areas, like how finance, like fintech, education, healthcare, and tourism, how they are drastically disturbed, and how they have to reshape to exist in the current scenario, right? So a fintech revolution, it is actually the combination of finance and technology. It even before COVID, it has taken a high start. Actually, the people, the students of today, the children of today, that is the millennials, they don't see cash at all. They don't see money at all, because we are using GPay, we are using phone pay, like all kind of payment system we are using. So they don't see that like physical money. Right, so their intention, their attitude towards seeing money is also different now. So they look different. They like, and children especially, they don't understand what is money, and that is how the situation is like. It has gone into our blood, like so. And as I told, no paper money, no bulky systems, no outstation checks. All those, these are still in existence, but the amount of usage, if you consider, it is minimal. Like percentage of people using digital interfaces, using P2P lending clubs, like lending money. There are so many options to lend money, to take money, and to pay money. All this digital interface has come in, and it has taken a very big disruption in the market. And people, why do you want to if whatever you want to do with bank, you can sit at home and do. So that is what the situation we have it today, and this situation really helped us during this pandemic. So and pandemic is like there is a very that as much as you are at home, as much as you are not out of home, you are safe. So so when you do everything from your convenience, it has this fintech revolution has really taken. Even to pay 5 rupees, 10 rupees, even if you buy vegetables, we do digital payments, digital interfaces, and from a normal marketing professional till global companies, they do accept all these digital interfaces. So that is what the scenario of today. And especially with this education, like we are all with this field actually. So we personally feel many pros and many cons are also with this strategy. So in this COVID pandemic, e-learning has highly been used. It has been, it is actually provoking. Okay, so all the schools, all the colleges, and whatever you want, however you want, like whatever the meeting is, if you want to connect with people, we take e-learning platform only. So and the market behind this e-learning platform has drastically, they are the people who flourished during this pandemic situation. right? So we conduct exams, we conduct classes, we conduct assignments, all those things happening online. And especially to say all the villages, all the towns, all the cities, they are connected with their students and teachers only via this e-learning platform. But we are not 100% happy with it, because when you talk, education is a right for everyone, right? So people who could not afford this online education, so what do they do? So there is a there is an inequality in education actually, but we believe that it will be addressed with the different policy in the upcoming future. Okay, so this is also a revolutionary shift. So we closed down the schools and we do not know what to do next. And immediately, within a short period of time, we got into this e-learning platform, and it has been approved by the government. Okay, the government itself, they suggested to go for online education, all those things. So this is also an example of a revolutionary shift. Okay, it did not evolve. It happened in a day or in a week or in a month. Okay, in a very short period of time across the world. It is not only in our place, across the globe. This is the situation. And the only thing I personally worry is, what about the children who cannot afford it? Right, so there are India, you know the scenario, like there are students where online classes are really which they cannot think about it. They need a mobile phone, at least a smartphone at least, to listen to this. So what do they do? So it is still a question, but we believe it will be addressed soon. And for to address such things, what we can do is different institutions, like who institutions, all those things should provide support skills for to develop such kind of activities. So that is one of the suggestions we should take it. Like institutions who are developed, who are fully developed, they can help such institutes who are not stable to take up these online sessions. Okay, so that support skill activities should be provided by top institutes. And when you talk about healthcare and wellness, so this is one of the very important thing that we are seeing during this COVID. So human touch, when you go for a hospital, when you go to a doctor and everything, human touch is very, very important for us to get well, right? But in this pandemic situation, it has wiped out, like human touch has become a sin, and we stop trying to avoid it to the most. So how technology played a good role to stabilize this part, right? So technology has played a good part in this uncertain times actually, and we are seeing news and many articles like how healthcare and industry has also boomed up with the online consultations. That is, they also call that as visit-free consultation, robotic consultations, simulative consultations, and chatbot consultations for basic sick illness recovery system. Okay, and this algorithm, AI and ML algorithm, which has played a very important role in the development of drug and also this vaccines and all those things, it has drastically reduced the time usually it will take for a drug discovery. Okay, so that kind of technology has immensely played, and we could get the vaccines, all those things in a short period of time because of such technologies only. So without which we would have taken years and years together to come up with such solutions, right? And other than this, robotic technology also played a very wonderful role in this pandemic situation. Like we have seen, we have read in articles that robots, they were used in the hospital area, like to disinfect the area and to deliver things to the patients, right? Because when we stop touch free, when we say touching touch free, then who will deliver the things to the patients. Okay, so a patient may ask water or something, so deliver like without touch, how can you perform it? Okay, so at that point of time, these robots have played a very important role, and UV disinfectant robots also played a very good role. I can just show you a video on it, and I'll please let me know whether you could see this.
There are various types of robots which can operate in a hospital. For the patient,
is it visible and can you hear it?
I'm Rajiv Karwal. I'm chairman of Milagro Robots.
I also introduced myself.
Of course, sir.
Hello, I am Miller Brown Rabbani LF. Nice to meet you and hope we can be friends.
This great big story was making the situation in Italy where almost 30% of the healthcare workers were getting infected. At that point in time, we thought we also have humanoids and they are probably acting up. We got a call from India's largest medical hospital and they said, can we do something together? And we took our robots, took their feedback, and they selected 2 robots.
So was that video visible and audible to you?
Audible now, ma'am.
I'm not able to hear you. Just yeah. So this was. Can you see this slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this was about this technology, robotic technology, how it is playing an important role in this pandemic situation, right? So, and even this robots were used across the city for disinfectant purpose to apply the disinfectants throughout the area, and of course in abroad they have used it immensely. And next, even Professor Justin was also touching this area, tourism in post-pandemic world. How will be seeing tourism? Tourism is highly hit, one of the highly hit market in this pandemic situation. And people, but anyway, it has to redefine, it has to be rebuilt, and it has to take its new normal form through some technology. So what is the technology will it be useful? So of course it cannot replace the real tourism thing, but still in this pandemic in the new normal situation, at least technology like AR, VR, called as augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality, all these technologies are offering a different way of tourism to the people. Okay, so how do they use it? It is like it becomes a e-tourism actually, like with the help of headsets, will be a virtual reality headsets, and with high-end cameras and softwares, you will be immersed into the place. For example, if you want to visit a place of your favorite list, like how children, how students, and how people are playing video games, the same way they will make you immerse, go to that particular spot that you have chosen. So here you can just, I can just show you how this technology is, of course it is not full-fledged, it has come into existence full-fledged, but this should be the next disruptive technology, of course, at least during this pandemic situation. So here you see,
We believe that the most exceptional.
so here a person is walking and coming here. Okay, so this person would be you. So when you wear that virtual reality glasses, and you would be the person who is walking over there. Okay, so it is a simulated video. So the person who is walking is you. And they will create you the complete, they'll give you the complete tourism, like how, if you are there at that point, how will you react, how the tourism will be planned. So they are taking into different parts of that area. All these things you will be seeing through your virtual reality glasses, and you will also immerse into it. You will all the haptic sensors, all those sensors. Like if you touch, it may give you a feel that you're touching that boat. Okay, so all these technologies are in research, and of course sooner it will be coming into it. Okay, so you are visiting a pottery place and you're touching it, so all this haptic sensors also will be there. So they are trying to give you a real feel how you will be in that situation, and it comes and drops you back in your state. Okay, so this is one of the upcoming technology research that is happening to boost up the new normal situation. Of course, it cannot replace the real tourism impact, real tourism thing, but still it is a redefinition of tourism market. And the next important thing is 3D printing. So 3D printing already it was into the market, but how it has helped during pandemic situation is like feels like not only medical or healthcare. Automobile is also one of the industry which was hit drastically. So there are many companies who have closed their production unit completely during this COVID pandemic situation. So when there is no sales, when there is no demand, like what is the need of production? So it has reached to such a point, and people have been sent out. They have been sent out, and many were with a jobless situation. And but when you think not only the automobiles, like the smaller parts that should be manufactured in that automobile industry was also hit, right? So when you are looking into a smaller part, a manufacturing part, for example, if you have a car, there will be smaller parts which you have to replace. Okay, so you because of this demand supply problem, this production supply chain was highly disrupted. So they cannot run the unit just to print, just to build the smaller parts. Okay, so that is, they will not get any kind of profit. So what is the solution? There is a demand for this minor parts. Okay, so how to do it? So at that point of time, this 3D printing technology has really helped, and it has printed the minor parts that is being used in automobiles, nuts, screws, whatever it is. So they can print. They have printed using 3D printers, and not only in automobiles, in healthcare, the demand for PPE kits, face mask, and ventilators, monitors, all those things have seen a huge demand. So when there is no production, who will produce it? So that part of time, this 3D printing has helped to print all such things. So here you are seeing a picture here, like all these things are 3D printed bridge, 3D printed biscuits, 3D printed house, and 3D printed heel. Okay, so all these are a technology which is into existence, and during pandemic they also had a good boost during this time. So here you are seeing a video how they constructed the same bridge construction is shown here. So this was also highly, this 3D printing, this technology was also highly utilized during this pandemic situation. And not only these technology, in biotechnology also, the CRISP, we call that as clustered regularly interspace short palindromic repeats. It is an adjustment made into the gene itself. Like when there is a genetical problem for a person, for a human, you can go to the gene and correct it. So this is also considered one of the disruptive innovations in biotechnology, because this is a big threat for medicine industry, right? So when you can correct the errors to going to gene, and what would be the necessity for medications? Okay, so this is also one of the innovative technology in biosciences, and where they talk with DNA to replace it on requirement. And so that is all. We have come to the end. So here you are seeing a slide which has so many things around us, so many innovations and so many disruptions, positives, negatives. And so it is like a big elephant inside a room. Like we know that disruption is ubiquitous. It is around us wherever you see. It is around us. You cannot avoid it. You cannot get rid of it. So only way is you have to get to go with it. Okay. So whatever kind of innovations that comes in, and we have to we have to look into the positive sides and try to minimize the negatives of such innovations. And one more interesting thing about this disruption is disruption itself is a victim of its own success. So today you get a technology, and this newest technology which has disrupted A will even get disrupted by new technology C. Okay, so that's why people say disruption theory is in danger of becoming a victim of its own success. So no one is permanent in this world. So when to conclude, what I could say is, when disruption is ubiquitous, okay, transformation becomes everyone's job. So we have to admit it and we have to adapt it, and that is how the world revolves. And thank you all. So hope it would be you all are familiar with this topic. So thank you all. So this is my details. You can just take it, and any queries we can discuss. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking your time to prepare for us such an extraordinarily wonderful presentation. That was flawless, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll just stop sharing.
Dear participants, tomorrow by 10 o'clock we'll be having the paper presentations, and by tomorrow evening, just like today, we'll be having our sessions by 5 o'clock. We'll meet there. Bye. And I think sir has shared a feedback link. You can go there. You can record your feedback there. Thank you.